welcome and welcome back to my channel, The Sugar Sean. I'm back for another video. In case you're brand new to my channel, I'm a life and dating coach and the author of 3 books. The first one's called The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. My second book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. And my third book, Getting Unstuck, How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, BarnesandNoble.com. I'll be sure to link all 3 of them below so you guys can check them out. And if you want to work with me as your personal life and dating coach, or if you'd like to submit a letter for a chance to possibly have it featured in an upcoming video, send me an email to itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, SHAWN@gmail.com. Now, if you like luxury unboxings, lifestyle content, dating advice, fashion videos, you'll definitely enjoy my channel. So go ahead and hit that red subscribe button. And while you're at it, tap that little bell. That way you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. Without any further ado, let's get started with today's letter. Let's go get them. Hi, Coach Sean. Hey, girl. I just want to get your advice as to my approach on this situation. Sorry in advance, this letter is longer than I expected to be. Me too, okay? This is top 5 longest letters I've ever gotten in all the years I've been doing it. I met my now ex 7 years ago. We were together for a little over 6 years. Of course, things were blissful in the beginning, and then I started to notice some red flags. His exes always seemed to linger. At one point, I walked away from him because he seemed to have unfinished business with his latest ex, but he begged me to give him another chance, and so I did. We experienced many problems throughout the relationships. Intimacy fell on my end, and my attitude wasn't always the best in certain situations. He continued to entertain other women and eventually cheated on me with an ex. I took him back, which I shouldn't have because I did not forgive him. We eventually moved in together into a home that I had purchased. After the breakup, it was my understanding that his family thought that we had purchased the home. During the initial months of us living together, his family was evicted from their apartment, 5 adults under one roof, and they began squatting in a bank-owned home. The bank kicked them out and they had nowhere to go. The pressure fell on me to take them in, but I said no because I didn't feel comfortable. He said this as well, and I thought they'd be a little bit too comfortable. This placed a strain on our relationship because I'm sure he wanted to help them, which he did monetarily, but later down the line, I found out that he placed all the blame on me for them not having a place to live. Intimacy fell even more due to the stress and the resentment of other women, and he eventually broke up with me. I was devastated and pleaded with him to work things out, but finally accepted the status of our relationship as being over. 1 month later, I found out that I was pregnant. I decided to keep the baby since I had previously decided to, I'll just say, ended it, and it was his child. I had vowed to never do that again. I broke the news to him stating that he didn't have to be involved, but I was going through with the pregnancy. He pled with me to terminate, even called my mom and said that I wouldn't be a good mother and that he would not attend any of the events regarding the baby. He even said he wanted to sign over his rights and that I should just move away to be closer to my family. I couldn't believe how he was treating me, as if he had knocked up a one-night stand. He then flipped the script on me and asked me to be a family, but Dad did not know what to do since he was acting crazy. I just told him I saw no future with him. A couple of weeks later, I found out that he was in a new relationship. This explains why he was treating me so negatively. I reached out to the other woman to notify her about my pregnancy, but she said they would move forward their relationship, keeping my child in mind. I watched as he flaunted this new woman around and as I carried his child. I kept minimal contact with him as I tried to heal myself from the breakup and carry my child to term. His family checks up on me throughout the pregnancy and they keep me informed. Why? Why are they keeping you informed? You know what? I allow him to come to my ultrasound, but that's it. During my 12-week ultrasound, he thinks it's okay to watch me undress, but I make him turn around. He never tries that again. I haven't seen him for a while, but he lets me know that our child was made out of love and to never forget that. I respond to him, thanks, because why message me something like that when you actually have a girlfriend? At one point, I stopped responding to his messages and he pops up at my house. I don't care to be around him because of all the hurt I'm trying to get through with this pregnancy alone. He tells me that he's struggling as well and that he's in therapy. He doesn't like the fact that he will only be a part-time dad, but he's becoming okay with it. He also asked me if I can take him out. Girl, what? He also asked me if he can take me out to lunch and bring food by. I asked him if his girlfriend is okay with that and he responds yes. I tell him I'll think about it. I eventually have a conversation with him and tell him I'm not comfortable going out to eat with him and just, trying to finish this healing process. He says okay and proceeds to ask me if he had another child with somebody else, would I be okay if the kids played together? I ask him, is there something that you have to tell me? And he says no. He also asked me if I'm going to try to seduce him because I'm his child's mother. I respond, no, I'm not like that. He then kicks me out and says, I'll find someone someday, and says it with a look of pity all over his face. A month goes by and he says he needs to talk to me. During this conversation, he tells me that his girlfriend is now pregnant. I just say I don't know what to tell him, and that's not my problem. Lastly, I told him not to treat her the way he initially treated me. It's her body, her choice. I did also feel that the pregnancy happened not to compete with my child, but because it takes two to tango. After some time of thinking, I tell him he's very irresponsible. She got pregnant 2 months after he met her. And a bad example as a father. He doesn't take this well because he thought that we could still be friends. Later down the line, I find out that she broke up with him due to another woman, but she wanted to get back together. I guess it was one of those spontaneous breakups where she didn't really mean it, but she wanted to teach him a lesson. She doesn't want her child to be raised in a broken home. How ironic. He didn't want to be with her. I think he sabotaged their relationship so that she would be the one to break up with him. He tried to use me as a scapegoat, but I didn't fall for it. I do not fight over men or date men that belong to another woman. I don't care if I'm carrying his child. He insinuates that we will get back together, saying things like, you never know what the future holds. I politely let him know that I don't think it's going to happen. I only signed up for one infant and not two. The woman reaches out to me and wants to make sure that the siblings know each other since they're only 3.5 months apart. But I told her I didn't think that there was a need for us to communicate and that any relationship between our children will be his father's responsibility. I didn't want to talk to her since she thought it was okay to date a man with the child on the way. And also I didn't want to talk to her because I didn't feel like it was necessary to have all these unnecessary people. Fast forward to the birth of my child. I allow him to be in the room. I'm rushed to an emergency C-section due to preeclampsia and put to sleep. I do not meet my child until the next day, but the world does, because that same night via social media, he posted the announcement and showed everybody our baby while I was knocked out. I was a bit upset over that since I had been through all of this and I was the last to see my own baby. Our co-parenting and relationship is going okay. He constantly complains about not having money, so I do not ask him for any. He also continuously says that he's glad that we all have good jobs, meaning me and the other child's mother, because that we can take care of our own children. I asked him to buy a pack of onesies and he says he's broke. This I do not understand because he bought a luxury vehicle as well as took a vacation right before the birth of our child. I sent Pampers and wipes, like the things that I got for the gender reveal. I sent formula. I eventually put a stop to all this because I feel like I was paying him to watch his own child. He was also all over the place with scheduling. I don't nag much, but I finally reached a conclusion that I want to move to be closer to my family. I brought this up throughout the pregnancy and he was okay with it. Our situation was far from ideal, so the support with my family would be needed. As soon as I announced I wanted to move, he immediately starts sending me money for the child and sends me his work schedule for the week and his days of availability. I do see him trying, but I still want to be with my own family. His living situation isn't the greatest. He doesn't have the space for a child at his place, so co-sleeping will be the only option. I have a home in which our child has his own room, backyard, all the necessities. I eventually meet up with the other mother. I tell her exactly what was going on from my perspective. During my pregnancy, he did send money to help with medical expenses. Come to find out, his girlfriend had given him a credit card. I believe he was taking money from her to do it. That's something that I never asked him to do. I asked her what made her date a man who was fresh out of a relationship with a baby on the way. She didn't really give much of an answer, just kind of gave me an old everything felt right type response. Basically, she didn't care. I let her know how he tried to hook up with me throughout our relationship, but I could tell that she was still in love with him, and unlike me, she wasn't done. I do let her know in the event that they decide to get back together that don't have to worry about me because I don't want him. I'm okay with her holding my child if they have family events, but I do not want my child left with anyone outside of family. She's aware of this. Now he's asking for 50-50 custody, but I did not sign up to be a part-time mother. He signed up to be a part-time dad though. I mean, he's made the same choice twice already. I tell him no, since I don't want my child to be bouncing back and forth in this kind of manner. I also mentioned that I still plan on moving. I will cover the cost getting our child back and forth if we can come up with a parenting plan. He says the only plan he's coming up with entails me staying with our child. I personally believe he wants 50-50 custody so that he doesn't have to give me any money or possibly place me on child support since I make 2 times the amount that he does. I also believe that if the other woman were to move, he wouldn't give her a hard time. He did say to me that our child would never have a stepfather, but his other kid can. I do understand he wants to maintain a close relationship with his kids, but I honestly think he's trying to use our child as a pawn to keep me within arm's reach as well. I am literally offering to pay for our child's child's travel so that he can make sure that he sees him regularly until the child is school age. I don't allow him to sit in my house. I'm about to stop letting him come in at all. I keep conversations limited to our child only. I told his family that they do not have to invite me to any of their events or post me on social media. I'm actually quite embarrassed by the situation and would prefer no one even knew he was connected to me in any way. I asked him to be a silent partner. He's tried to get me back on more than one occasion. His family always attempts to get us back together and said that our kid would be much better in a two-parent household. I said no because my self-esteem is not set up that way to deal with his baggage. Am I coming off as bitter? Am I taking the right steps? I know you don't give legal advice, but am I doing something wrong as far as co-parenting? He currently has our child 2 days per week and 1 overnight. This started when she was about 3 months. I was currently going to increase it to 2 nights back to back. Mind you, he doesn't even have a crib set up. Should I go through the courts? I don't want them to make me have to stay or give him 50-50 custody. She also says at the end of this that she has no clue what to do. This whole thing is a mess. She's the only stable parent and that he's trying to call the shots, but she's the one who's taking on all the responsibility. She's not trying to cut him off, but she feels that she's being bullied. And also, is she allowing him to take advantage of her? And she also gives some background info that she says she doesn't want me to share. All right, there's a lot that I want to talk about in this particular letter, but I want to start off with talking about him. He is a user. He's a liar and he's very manipulative. And I feel like all of this was a setup, you know, and I also feel like he was grooming you. You said at the very beginning that you didn't like it. It seemed like he was always a little bit too friendly with his exes. And then he ended up cheating on you with an ex. I think that's what he was grooming you for. When you were pregnant, you had moved on with your life and he was like, you know, take you out to lunch sometime? Can I bring some food by? He was grooming you for that as well. He likes relationships to have a revolving door. He feels like the women that he dates are his. He's very territorial. And if he likes you, he'll give you a baby. Because why is he getting a woman pregnant that he only knew for 2 months? And then he asked you about it first. You said he came to you and said, if I have another child, can our babies play together? And then he ends up getting a woman pregnant that he only knew for 2 months. Like, this is what he does. He's irresponsible, just like what you said. I wouldn't put my life on hold for an irresponsible, indecisive man like this. If you want to move to be closer to your family, your support system, that's exactly what I would do. You're worried about, like, you know, what if he does this and what if he asks for 50-50? If I were you, I would leave town while I could before all of that. Because first of all, there's a chance he will never do that because he's too irresponsible. He doesn't even have a crib for the baby and the baby's 8 months old. By the time he gets the crib, the baby is ready for a day bed or a toddler bed. Like, he's not responsible. I wouldn't take what he's saying and change my whole life around it. I would continue doing what I need to do, which is best for me and my child. If you want to move closer to your family, I would say move. I wouldn't let his threat, which I'm not sure if it's empty or not, keep me stuck in a place that I don't want to be. You already said you're the one who's been doing everything this entire time. If you want to move, move. He's not helping. He only started helping when you threatened to leave. And even then, you said you felt like you were paying him to babysit his own child. He didn't even want to buy onesies for the child. He's only doing this to manipulate you. Like you said, he told you that your child will never have a stepfather, but he doesn't care what the other woman does. Like, who is he to tell you how you can move on, who you can move on with, what kind of life you can live? I feel like he is using the child as a pawn to control you. What he likes about you is you're not malleable like these other girls. Like the other girl, he cheated on her and she's willing to take him back. Just willing to take him back, but you're not. When he cheated on you, you cut him off completely. You have not let him get back in your heart, get back in your bed. You don't even want him back in your home. You said, I didn't even want him back in my house anymore. I just want to talk to him on the phone. That's what he likes. He likes the fact that you're running. He sees you as a chase because normally with his gift of gab and his ability to be a ladies' man, he can only get who he wants, when he wants, how he wants, but you're the only one who's resisted. This isn't even about you, in my opinion. This is about his ego. As soon as you give in and be like, you know what? Yes, I will take you back. That's when he'll be like, good, because I knew it wasn't me. I knew I still had it. He will pop his collar and go on to the next. This is just about him proving to himself that he is the man and that he can get any woman to take him back no matter how many times they say they'll never take him back. He thinks it's all about him and he's not too low to use his child as a pawn in this. It's a game to him. He's running around here in a luxury vehicle, taking fancy vacations before his child is born. And then after not even really being any help to you, he's gonna pop up and show your child on social media before you see your own baby? The audacity. When I read that, I was like, oh, how dare you? I'm knocked out, haven't even seen my own child, and everybody on the gram, everybody on Facebook done seen my baby. You bragging about it? And then you said that he took the credit card from the other girl, and that's the money that he's used to help your baby and to help you with medical bills. So that just shows you he's not above using women to get what he wants. He'll use A to provide for B. Now he's looking for a C to provide for B. Like, that's all he's trying to do. He uses women. He manipulates women. He's good with women. But you wised up to his games and you fell out of love with him the instant you started to feel like he wasn't being a good dad. Some women want a man so bad, they don't even care how he treats their child. You can't want to be with me, but you're like indifferent to your own child. But you were somebody who said, no, I don't like any of this. You got your own house and all of that. I do feel like he's a user. When his family got evicted, 5 of them under one roof, he wanted you to take them in and you said no. See, that's the problem with the two of you. Like, he wants you to just do whatever he says and you always say no. You always put your foot down and he likes that. He's not used to women telling him no because he thinks he's a player and he can get a woman to do anything he wants them to do, but not you though. And that's why he likes chasing you. He thinks at the end of the day he can have you and he wants that. He doesn't want you. He wants to be able to say that no one can resist me. Even her. I'm telling you, this woman right here resisted me for years, told me we'd never get back together. That's all this is about. Do what's best for you and your child and forget this guy. All he wants to do is play women and play part-time dad. You said you didn't volunteer for this, and I do feel like he has his eyes on your money. It's not like he's above it. You said he used that other woman's credit card to help you pay for your medical bills, and I think he's going to use, you said you make 2 times the amount of money that he does. He's going to take some of your money that he's going to get by putting you on child support. He's going to use that to help take care of the other one. He doesn't even want to spend his own money on his own children. This man doesn't care about anybody but his selfish self. Why hasn't he sold this luxury car to be a better father for his children? He only cared about it when you were going to leave. He feels like he can't have his claws in you if you're in another state and you're a little bit too far away. He wants you close so he can try to wear you down. He can slowly start to, like you said, asking you to lunch. You said no now, but in a couple of years or a couple of months, he's hoping that you'll stay around and that he can keep working on you and that he can get something from you. It's been a game to him from the very beginning. I'm sad that you saw these things up front and you didn't let the warning signs make you stop. You used the red light as a caution light. You treated it like it was a yellow light. Instead of stopping completely, all you did was slow down a little. You said, I don't like how he seems to have a really good relationship with all of his exes. He seems like the door is a little bit too open with them. But you still got pregnant and now you're one of the exes. And he's trying to make sure that that door is open. That's what he wants to do. He manipulates women and he likes being able to have every woman in his life have a revolving door where if he needs something, he could ask you for it. You moved this man into a house that you purchased. He thought he had found his cash cow, his golden goose. Girl, you were the goose that laid the golden egg. He just knew he was going to be able to use you and move his family in. You said in your letter the child is 8 months old. You've been telling him since you were pregnant that you were thinking about moving away. Just go ahead and move. You don't have to ask this man for permission to do what's best for you. You said in your letter you call them hood twins because your child and his child is 3.5 months apart. So he's got you in this situation where you're asking him, that's what he wants from you. He wants to have you intimidated. He wants you to have to come to him and him think about it. I don't know if I want you to leave. Sir, it's not up to you. I wasn't asking. I was informing you. This was a courtesy call. This wasn't for permission. Who do you think you are to sign my doggone permission slip? You're not my husband. You're not my boyfriend. You haven't even been consistently taking care of your child. I'll be doggone if somebody who did very little would be trying to have this much control over me. He is trying to bully you. After 8 months, he doesn't even have a crib for the child, and the child is 8 months old. So you think this man who hasn't done anything to prepare is really going to give 50-50 custody? Where's the child going to be that 50% of the time? I don't believe him. I truly don't. I say pray about it, ask God what he would have you to do, but I think this guy who has a history of manipulating women is trying to manipulate you in this instance. He wants you close so that he can eventually wear you down and eventually take advantage because that's worked for him in the past. He likes to have an open door with his exes. You know that because that's the first thing you said in your letter. Don't let him treat you like these other women. You see the writing on the wall. Don't think you'll be any different. I think he's trying to have the same open door policy with you as he has with his other exes. And this is all about manipulation and him getting what he wants. And everything has to be convenient for him. I don't think he's going to take that luxury car and drive it out of town to go visit you and your son. He wants everything to be wrapped up in his favorite color bow because everybody has always bent and conformed to do whatever he wants him to do. That's his biggest problem with you. He can't manipulate you as easily as he's manipulated women in the past, and that bothers him. It gets on his nerves. This is an ego boost for him. And I feel like even with you wanting to have the child in the first place, he even called your mom so disrespectful and told your mom that you'd be a bad mother, all of those different things. He wants to control you, and he can't do that from afar. That's the real reason why he doesn't want you to leave. But that's not enough reason for you to want to stay. You've been doing what's best for your child, and I think you should continue to do that. You can't come in at the last minute and start calling the shots. You can't make a minimal effort and think that you're in control of anything. I think that you should leave while you still can, set up a life in another city and state, and make him actually have to work for it. If he wants to come see your child, he needs to come there with a diaper bag and his own formula and his own diapers and his own onesies and have a crib set up at his place. He needs to put in some effort. Everything isn't about just making things easy and convenient for him. It's not about him. It's like when you became a mother, you instantly switched into mommy mode. You'll do anything that you can to sacrifice for your child. That's why you're putting up with him in the first place, because you'd rather have any contact with the child having any contact with the father than none at all. You're willing to make the changes necessary to do what's best for your child. It's his turn to do that. It can't just be about what's convenient for him. All right, that is pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to thumbs up if you did. If you want to hear more of my thoughts and opinions on life and love, consider purchasing one of my books. As I said, I've written 3. First one's called The Dating Game: How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. My second book, Breaking the Man Code: The Key to Unlocking His Heart. And my third book, Getting Unstuck: How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, BarnesandNoble.com. And if you want to work with me as your personal life and dating coach, or if you'd like to submit a letter for a chance to possibly have it featured in an upcoming video, send me an email to itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, SHAWN @gmail.com. Now here on this channel, I do luxury unboxings, dating advice videos like this one, fashion videos, lifestyle content, a little bit of everything. So if that's what you're into, tap that red subscribe button and also hit that little bell, and that way you'll be notified every single time I upload a video. Now, if you like this video, you'll love my last one. I'll do you a favor and I'll link it for you right here. Be sure to subscribe right here. Till next time, later divas and dudes. Deuces, honey.